So what I wanted to do was give you an overview on how I have my mixer set up here. This is the Behringer Xenix 1622 FX mixer, and I was just going to tell you how I use it and what does what, to give you an idea on what or how you want to set up your mixer. So just before I start, I'm just going to let you know that my main computer has 3 sound outputs, so 3 of them go into this mixer. That does different things, and then I have some other computers connected to this as well as another mixer. So anyways, I'm going to start here. Basically what I do is I have my mic on channel 1, which is the MXL 990 condenser mic. 2 is a spare channel, so if I have somebody else coming over or want to hook up another mic. I use channel 3 for Skype, which comes out of my main computer. Channel 4 is for Teamspeak, which also comes out of the main computer. I have channel 5, 6, which comes from the PV mixer, which is over there, because I do some music and stuff on my keyboard, which goes through that mixer. Channel 7, 8 is the main out for my main computer, so when I'm playing games and things like that. Channel 9, 10 comes from the Mac Mini. And 11, 12 comes from the streaming machine because I use that to play music and stuff. So that comes into the mixer. So I have sub sends out and I have an auxiliary send that I use for the main computer. Basically, when I'm talking to somebody in Teamspeak, they go out through the auxiliary send, which is right here. And that routes through Teamspeak. So I have my mic on it. And then whatever else I want to throw into Teamspeak, maybe a second mic, I just turn up the auxiliary send. And when I want over here, which is Skype, I can run that through Teamspeak by just turning up the auxiliary send, and people in Teamspeak can hear. Now, when I'm doing some recording into my computer, I use the sub 1-2 send, which is basically left and right channels, and it goes into Adobe Audition. I can do recording in stereo. And then I have the main mix that sends to the Wirecast machine, the streaming machine, so everybody on the stream can hear. When I'm on Skype, I use the subsend and its own channel. That way, if I want to, I can actually route Skype into Teamspeak and vice versa. So what I would do to route Skype into Teamspeak is on the Skype channel, I turn up the auxiliary. And over on this channel, which is Teamspeak, I would turn on sub 1-2. This is a great mixer because it allows you to select what you want to route through your main mix and your sub mix, as well as a solo. So, if for some reason I wanted to play something different into the sub 1-2 send, I can just do that by selecting what I want to go into the sub send, and then I can have something different going into my main mix. Now let's say I wanted to have a private conversation with someone or something like that without actually muting my mixer, so there's music or something going through my stream. What I would do is I could do a solo. So if I wanted, let's say I wanted to talk to someone in Teamspeak, what I would do is I would hit the solo button, deselect the main button, and on my mic here I would deselect the main button, and then when I go to talk, the people in Teamspeak would be able to hear me, but it wouldn't go through the main mix. And then when I want them to go through the main mix, I just hit main on mine for my mic, and then main on Teamspeak, and then Teamspeak will go back through to the streaming computer. This is great because I can solo things, and with that I can, if I wanted to get some audio queued, I can just like solo that channel and hear directly. Let's say if I just want to hear a couple of channels, I can solo 7, 8, and let's say 4. So I might want to listen to a YouTube video without it going through the stream, so I would solo that, but I also want to be able to hear people in Teamspeak, so I would solo channel 4. So now I can still hear the conversation in Teamspeak, and I can hear my YouTube video without it going through the mains. This also has built-in effects that I use, which is effects too. You know, you got reverb, everything. It's packed full of features. So that's what I do. And this right here, my headphones. I always have my headphones on, and when I'm listening in my headphones, whatever the main mix has is what I'm hearing. So when I talk, I hear my voice. When people in Teamspeak or Skype talk, I hear them, as well as the music I have mixed as well. That way, it gives me an idea of what other people are hearing. I know some people don't like hearing themselves, but I do, because I need to know that I have a good mix between, you know, people talking on Skype and Teamspeak to my voice, making sure the levels and that are fine, and I'm just so used to it. So yeah, so that's pretty much how I do everything. Now, in the event that I want to queue up or plug in something new and I'm not too sure how it's going to sound, or I want to tweak my mic, what I can do, there's a feature here. In solo mode, it's pretty much AFL, which goes with the slider. If I press it in, I go into PFL, which is pre-fader mode, and then when I go to press the solo button here, what it's going to do is it's going to tell me my maximum after my gain and before the fader. This is great. So let's say if somebody wants to come in or whatever, use a mic, I get them to do a test check, and what I would do is I would do a test on, you know, their preamp before it goes in here. That way it doesn't distort. And that's a good thing when you use the solo button here. You can do a PFL level set, and then you can go back to using the normal. And in PFL it's mono. In normal solo mode it's stereo, which is great because I love stereo, and I like to be able to, if I wanted to listen to music privately or whatever, it'll run through stereo into my headphones. I have my mixer set up in stereo. Basically, all of the stereo outputs, let's say, like I have a couple of computers hooked up. I have the Mac Mini hooked up and I have a streaming computer hooked up. Well, that's stereo, so I use the stereo channels for that. I also have stereo coming from my main output of my main computer, which I have connected here in stereo. And then my PV mixer is in stereo because the keyboard that hooks to it has its stereo output. So everything that I have to use in stereo is connected to the stereo input. Everything else, such as voice, like my microphone and Teamspeak and Skype, are all hooked up into the single channel, which is mono, because it's their voice. I mean, if I wanted to do a pan left or right, I can, but since I have 4 usable stereo channels, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, basically 5 is left, 6 is right, I just run all my stereo equipment into it, you know, like the output for my computer. And when I run the live stream, it's also in stereo. So when I'm playing music or whatever, or I'm playing games, whoever's listening on the stream, watching, will be able to hear the stereo sound. And I think that's actually something good to have, having your stream in stereo. I see a lot of streams out there that are running mono, and their stereo is perfectly capable of doing stereo output. And it doesn't really use a lot of bandwidth to do stereo versus mono. Like you can do 96 at AAC in stereo, that's going to be, you know, great sound. Or you could do 128 MP3, and, you know, you're not going to really hear a difference between mono and stereo, except the part that stereo uses 2 channels, so you get left and right. I happen to find that streams that just run in mono are very boring, especially when they're doing music, because it's a mono mix. So if you want to do a live stream or going to do a live stream, I would suggest, if you have, you know, the capabilities of doing stereo, run it in stereo. So I have here, this is mono, like I said, because I have a dedicated output for my computer for Teamspeak, one sound card, a dedicated output for Skype, which is another, and that's all they're used for is voice. So that goes directly into the line ends, and that way it doesn't take up my stereo channels, because I use all of these inputs, and I'm a big fan of stereo, as you can probably already tell. So yeah, there's a general idea on how my mixer works and what I can do with it. And yeah, hopefully you found this video interesting and fun. And if you liked the video, and if you've seen our other videos, why not subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/MacandTech. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment or send me an email, questions@macandtech.net. Check out our website at macandtech.net, and the live page where we have a chat room that goes all the time at live.macandtech.net. And we'll chat at you later.